any preposition, not a verb. So the first example was actually correct. I was telling you this first example was the right one because this is the preposition and the dog is a noun. While the number 2 example is incorrect because after the preposition for is a verb. And a verb does not usually precede any preposition in the sentence. Okay, let's continue. This is in line with that rule that you have to watch what follows any preposition in the sentence. You might get confused when you see a verb, a noun that acts like a verb in the sentence. Example, I have 2 examples here for you. I like to ski. I like to ski. Of course, you would notice that to is the preposition and ski actually is sounding like a verb. The same with the number 2 example. These boots are for skiing. So for is the preposition in the sentence. These are all the preposition. And what precedes them is are words that seem to be a verb in form. However, the word ski here is actually an infinitive. This is an infinitive. So what is an infinitive? An infinitive is a verb that acts as like noun in the sentence. So ski here is actually a noun. So therefore, this example is correct. I like to ski. Ski is not actually an action word in this sentence, but instead it is a defining word. So let's look at number 2. These boots are for skiing. So again, for is the preposition. We said that a while ago. And skiing is the word that precedes the preposition. And skiing, you might think again that this is a verb, but actually this is not a verb. This is a gerund. So what is a gerund? A gerund is actually a noun that has a verb root and that ends in ing. It's a present participle. So you don't confuse yourself with words that seem to be a verb but actually acting like a noun. So that is the second rule. Let's proceed to the third rule. So the third rule is avoid using them at the end of sentences. So I would like you to look at the examples here. The table is where I put my books on. The table is where I put my books on. Where is the preposition in this sentence? You can see that it's at the end of the sentence here. So do you think this is correct? No, this is not correct. This preposition is actually unnecessary. Why? When you put something on top of the table, definitely it will tell you that it's actually on top of the table already. How come it is unnecessary and there's no need to write on here? Why? Because when you remove the word on and you read the sentence, the table is where I put my books. Still, it will give you a complete meaning. So, it's unnecessary. So, how about the example number 2? I turned the TV on. So, this one is correct. I turned the TV on. It's okay to use the preposition at the end of the sentence because it makes sense. Although, you can also write it this way. I turned on the TV. But you have to indicate the time expression for the sentence to be correct. I turned on the TV last night when an earthquake occurred. Okay? So in this sense, the preposition, using the preposition here is correct. Okay, so I hope you understood. Let's proceed to the next rule. Okay, you should never substitute have for of. So I have two examples here. The first one, when you read it, I don't know how it sounds to your ears, but you can hear that I should of come over. Is there something wrong in this sentence? I should of come over. By listening alone, you will be able to detect that this sentence is actually wrong. So you never substitute of for have. Therefore, the next example is correct. I should have come over. So never substitute have for of. Let's proceed. Okay, the next rule is you don't have to confuse in and into. So how is it working? When you see in and into, you don't have to confuse yourself when you use the preposition in and into. Let's look at the first example. This will give you an idea on how to use the preposition in and into, or when to use it. So let's look at the first example. I swam in the lake. So notice that the preposition in here is indicating location. It tells you where you swam. So use I swam in the lake. It tells you that you swam in the lake. So when do you use into? The preposition into is used when you're expressing motion. So let's look at this example. She drove into the city. So there is a movement there. There's a motion. Where did she drive? She drove into the city. So don't confuse with in and into. You have to use it properly. Let's proceed to the next rule. So try not to interchange than and from. Try not to interchange than and from. Example, you look different than your mother. Instead of saying using than, you have to you look different than your mother. Instead of using than, you have to use from. You look different from your mother. So preposition is very important. You have to learn, you have to use them properly in your writings, especially in preparation for the written expression. So these are the 6 rules that you have to consider. But the last one is the topic that we have under our lesson. So I would like you to look at this closely. These are prepositions followed by nouns. If you remember, class, this is the topic that you have in your lesson. So let's try to identify the different prepositions here. You can see that they come before the nouns. You have at 15, at university, at school, in the news, and on his computer. So this is actually called noun phrases.
So before stop sharing screen with video.
That's all. Okay, let's go back.
They can see us.
How do I? There's a way to.
What are making it?
Ayun na.
Wait, class, wait.
Minimize this. And she. Open it. She. Okay. And close it. I, Alright. No. Just a second. You click on here. Yeah. Okay. Click on that again. Again one more time. Yes. No. Yes.
So class, let's go back again. So I'm talking about these prepositions under our topic that is followed by nouns. I was showing you these examples a while ago. So these are example of noun phrases. Okay, these are examples of noun phrases. But you can apply the different rules that we have learned when you're writing and speaking. Let me show you more examples. Okay, you can see more examples of noun phrases. I think the numerals that you can see on the board. During the lesson is an example of noun phrase before the fight rather, in a hurry, at least, for fun, by chance, on a map, out of place, off the top, up the hill, until midnight, among the trees, and over the lake. So these are examples of noun phrases that is related to the topic that we have in our book. So how about these examples here? Yes, there are many of them. When you use the to, according to the instructions, with is the preposition, and this is the noun, the conception of, within, walking distance, without, exception, to the exclusion of, against the change, we have across the street, through the garden, around the world, between the home and the sea. More examples you can read here. So from memory, under stress, after lunch, near the house, into the room, below the pictures, about the accidents, inside the box, towards the line, despite warnings upon the arrival outside Europe, and down the hill. I know you're able to catch on this lesson. All you have to do is just to remember how to use them properly all the time. So this time, let's try to underline some prepositions in this paragraph. So let's try to read and underline. These are more examples actually. So last Saturday, my mother had a big surprise for my sister. Okay, for is one preposition on the first sentence. We were visiting the amusement park. Is there any preposition in that sentence? I don't think so. Excitedly, we packed our lunches and hopped into the car. So you can see two prepositions in this sentence. Excitedly, we packed our lunches and hopped into the car. Mother drove along the freeway and across the town. Okay, how about across? Is that a preposition? Is it a double preposition here? All right, yes. Down toward our destination. Finally, we arrived at the hills and amusement park. We almost started running in different directions. Mom told us it was important to, okay, we missed this preposition here, sorry. we almost started running in different directions. Mom told us it was important to stay together. We took turns decoding on ride. So this is another preposition. Fortunately, my favorite ride was ride by my sister's favorite roller coaster. We rode roller coasters, bumper cars, and racing boats together. At the end of the day, we were exhausted from all the fun that, not the, sorry.
Just don't touch it. Just erase. Touch the book. Touch the book. Touch the book and erase it.
I can take care of it.
Any of them. Try that first.
Okay, let's continue. From all the fun we had, we pretended we were flying over roller coaster tracks on the way home. I had wonderful time with my family. So these are the prepositions that you can find in this paragraph. Actually, there are many of them. That's all.